We have our coach speaker today is a three-time elite coach. She started coaching in 2014, a little over 5 years ago. She's a 7-star diamond, and she also has 13 lifetime diamonds spread over a couple business centers. So listen to this. She's hit Success Club 50 months in a row. So I'd like to bring from Charlotte, North Carolina, Kelsey Smith. Hi, Kelsey.
Hi, Sandy. I'm so excited.
I'm excited for you. So you know how the National Wake Up Call goes. Let me just take you through these questions. But first, let's talk about how you came to Beachbody. So what brought you to coaching?
You know, the crazy thing about coaching is that it came into my life when I needed it most, even though I honestly didn't even know it at the time. To give you some backstory on who I am, I'm somebody who has dealt with anxiety and depression for as long as I can remember. It started as a kid in middle school when I was being bullied all the time. And then after that, I feel like every time that something was off in my life, I would feel and fall into the state of sadness or panic. So if you dealt with this, you probably know that it's kind of hard to get out of that once you're in. And my parents were amazing. They helped me the best way that they knew how to help me. They took me to the doctor. I remember getting prescribed antidepressants and I would temporarily feel better. But before I knew it, something else would happen and then it would get triggered again. So I remember dealing with it the worst ever back in 2009. When my best friend passed away in a car accident. And that was the darkest time of my entire life. And I carried this anger and this sadness into every aspect of my life throughout the remainder of college and into my first career as a full-time news reporter. And that at the time was all I ever wanted to do with my life. My dad always talked about the home videos he had of me with the remote in my hand and talking into the microphone like I was Susie Colbert, because that was going to be my job. I was going to take Susie Colbert's job and I was going to be on the NFL sidelines and do Monday Night Football. But the thing about that career is that no one ever tells you how unglamorous that life truly is. No one told me how little I was going to be paid or how underappreciated I would be for all the hard work I was going to put in. I started my career at a small station in Clarksburg, West Virginia. Let's go Mountaineers. And my salary was $21,000 a year. And if you do the math on that, after taxes, after everything comes out, health insurance, that comes out to a little bit over $500 every 2 weeks. And because it was all I could afford, I lived in a horrible apartment where the roof leaked. I did not feel safe. There were countless times where my water heater would go out and I would have to pack clothes and drive to the gym so that way I could shower. It was all I could afford. And I'll never forget the day that I came home from work and saw a $600 electric bill and just collapsed to the floor because clearly that was more than one of my 2-week paychecks. And I was broke. I was choosing between gas and groceries. And in turn, that depression cycled around again and it came knocking at my door. But then April of 2014 happened and I get emotional talking about it because this changed everything for me. I was scrolling on social media and I came across a post from a girl that I used to work with at a bar in college. And honestly, I remember being super thrown off by that post because I was unhappy and she was very happy. She was fulfilled. And the last thing that you want to see when you're barely hanging on is somebody that is living their best life. So at that time, I just scrolled on by. And here's the thing that they teach us in this business, and it's so important now that I see it, is that her consistency was unbelievable. Because every single day, there she was. She was working out. She was raving about her results. She felt amazing in her wedding dress. And so then finally, I was like, you know what? I got to see what this is about. So I reached out. I asked her about the 21-day fix, which is crazy now that it's 5 years old because I started back then when it first came out. And she gave me all the information. I was super excited. And then I couldn't afford Shakeology. So I bailed out of that conversation. And I was the girl that went behind her back and got it online without Shakeology. So I always tell people to never count that person out. But I'll never forget when my package came in the mail and how excited I was because in 2 weeks, I lost 7 pounds. I felt in control of something for the first time in a long time. And I was raving about it. But since I did this whole thing behind her back, I didn't have a coach. I didn't have a challenge group. But I did keep reaching out to her and asking her questions. And she was so generous. And even though I didn't go through her, she gave me the information I needed. She even sent me a free Shakeology sample because I was that mooch that saw that she was giving away free samples. So I asked for one and she did. She sent me one. But what it came down to is that I was a believer. And before I even finished the program, I wanted everyone to know about it. And I went back to her because I trusted her because she was there for me through the whole thing. And I told her I wanted to sign up as a coach to get a discount on Shakeology. But I knew from the moment I signed up that I was going to go all in with this business.
You know what's so interesting about your story is that it relates to so many people, but you stuck with it. And here you are 5 years later. And I think people, when they see your success, they think, oh, she just got it like overnight. You know, she just got this success. But it is the story that makes you completely relatable. And I'm seeing on Facebook right now, people going, that's my story. That's my story. That's my story. Okay, then share it. If that is your story, share it and stay consistent with it. So I'm pumped right now. I want to take you on to the next part of the wake-up call, which is why we asked you to talk on this topic. You're successful in this area. So share why and what you do.
Yeah, I am so pumped to talk to you guys about this. I've had a sticky note on my desk for 2 years now, not even kidding, that says this: if it's boring you, then it's boring them. And this stems from one thing. It was 6 consecutive months back in end of 2016 into 2017, where my challenge groups were boring. And I'm talking super boring. I would look at a calendar and I would say, okay, Kelsey, what do you want to do a challenge group about this month? And I would look and see what was happening on the calendar. So if it was Valentine's Day, I'd be like, loving yourself. Thanksgiving, I'd say, okay, go drop a turkey. You know, Christmas, I'd say, let's go be healthy for the holidays. And while I'm not saying that that's wrong, all I'm saying is that I was blending in. You know, I was just another coach, because the reality of it is that every coach out there was doing the exact same thing that I was doing. So I was just another coach in their newsfeed. You know, I would send a welcome email. I would plug people into my groups. I would schedule out posts. I would check in daily. And before I knew it, they were all dropping like flies. Simple as that. You know, they were bored. I was bored. I was just going through the motions. And the thing that sucked about it is that I've always prided myself on the relationships that I've built with the people that I work with. You know, this business is all about helping people achieve this healthy and fulfilling lifestyle. You know, and challenge groups are truly the core of what we're doing, because that's the community that people are needing. That's the community that people are craving. And while I knew that, you know, my groups were just filled with these one and done customers. They had zero interaction. And honestly, they did not even interest me. So why would it interest them? And the reality of this whole thing is that people are joining for results. Yeah, that's why they're reaching out to you. But at the end of the day, they're joining you because of an experience. You know, we have something as coaches that they cannot get anywhere else out there. You know, no gym is going to send them an alert at 5 o'clock to tell them that they haven't logged their workout or logged a shake that day. You know, no trainer is going to reach out to them and genuinely ask them questions and get to know their goals and say, hey, you haven't logged a workout in 5 days. Where are you? Right? No one's going to do that. No one out there is going to give them an app that gives them a connection to people all across the country, across the pond in the UK, up into Canada, right? No one out there is going to send them meal plans, guide them through this process, you know, celebrate them when they lose a few pounds, and even talk them off a ledge when they're not getting results. We do that. We are coaches. We get to do that for them. We are their tool to success. We not only help them get results, but they have to get that feeling like they're part of something that's absolutely incredible. You know, think about it. We make these posts on social media and we talk to these potential clients behind the scenes and we tell them how great our challenge groups are going to be. And then we don't deliver on those experiences. Why should they stick around? You know, we're just another gym. And I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to be that person. You know, when we enroll somebody, we make a commitment to that person. And sure, you know, not every person is going to stick around. That's the nature of this business, you know, and I'm not going to beat myself up over the people that that fell off the tracks when it wasn't my fault. But here's the thing. There are tons of people who are out there and they need this and they want this. And we need to make sure that we are giving them every single thing that they need to be successful in this business. So with that being said, after seeing nothing, absolutely nothing happening in my groups for months, no customers sticking around, no customers wanting to be coaches on my team, I said, you know what? I need to make a change. And I did make that change. And it has not only changed my groups for the better, but it increased retention because people do not want to miss out on what is coming up. So I came up with 4 things to share with you guys that I personally changed that has helped my groups completely transform in the past couple of years. The first thing that I did was I stopped using Facebook and began running my challenge groups solely on the My Challenge Tracker app. Now, here's the thing about that, okay? The only time I still run one group randomly on Facebook every once in a while, and that's usually when a program launches. So example, Transform 20. So that way my team has a big community page during the launch, but even during that, all of ours are running individual groups on the My Challenge Tracker app, because to me, the app is the best thing that has happened to us as a network. Not only is it a great tool for us as coaches to know who is logging and who is showing up and being able to interact with them, but because it's made everything so much more professional for us, right? They can't get that anywhere else. It's something that I can use in my conversations as a bonus perk to, what they're going to be getting when they're signing up. And I talk it up. I'll say something along the lines of, you're not only going to get your challenge pack, but you're going to get a year of free coaching with me. You're going to download an app on your phone where you're going to meet the rest of our tribe. You'll be a part of our community. You'll be able to interact with me, log your shakes and workouts so you can be held accountable. You can even post your measurements and your before and your progress pictures as we're going. I also tell them that I'll upload free tools in the files section every single week, such as recipes, tips and tricks, ebooks, meal planning tips, and so much more. And what I do is I put everything in one place, and I will use all of these features that the app offers. I'll do things like send weekly messages, or I'll upload quick love notes to them as the video portion of it. That's my favorite part about it, is being able to just be myself and share. And I'm not saying that Facebook is the wrong way to do things, because I know that it works for so many coaches. All I'm saying is that it wasn't working for me. I was losing my people there. They weren't being notified when I would contact them. A lot of them were so scared to be taking this on in the first place that they wouldn't dare post their photos or a question publicly, And the thing about the Challenge Tracker app is it's allowed them to share only with me. And it's actually built this level of trust between us, because when they upload these photos or they go and do these things, I'm not out there like blasting it. I'm talking to them one-on-one and helping them through it. I actually tried moving my groups back to Facebook once or twice, and the girls just did not like it. They want that next level of accountability that the app was offering, because the next level of accountability is why they came to me in the first place. So that's the first thing. Number 2. So you might be wondering, okay, cool, great. You use the Challenge Tracker app. How does that make your challenge groups miraculously less boring? Well, like I mentioned before, I was in a routine of just picking something off a calendar and saying, that's going to be my challenge group theme. So I asked myself one question, and it changed the game for me when it came to challenge groups. I said, Kelsey, what would excite you if you saw it on social media? What kind of fitness challenge or community would inspire you? And so I had to do some homework on myself. I sat down and I created an avatar of myself. And you might be thinking that's weird, but I'm getting to it, I promise. I wrote down what I watched on TV. I wrote down what I liked to read. I wrote down what made me laugh. And once I had that list, I sat down and I said, how can I use this to attract my people? How can I incorporate it into my overall mission as a coach, which is to help women dream bigger, to value progress over perfection, and to have fun. And I realized that so many people out there are so scared of fitness and diets because it means in their brains like deprivation, So what I wanted to do was to create a space that was more than all of that. I wanted to create something that they were going to have fun with, right? And this one exercise gave me an entire year's worth of challenge group ideas that people keep asking me to bring back. I've created a Friends themed challenge group. I've created Harry Potter ones. I've done fantasy football. I've done Survivor of the Fitness instead of Survival of the Fittest. I've done so many things like that. And then all of a sudden they'll pop up on a news feed, and it's something that no one's ever seen before. And people are intrigued with what I have. The third thing that I do is making sure that I'm delivering on what I said I promised them. I want my groups to be fun. I don't want them to be serious. I'm not the kind of person that's going to put up a call to action daily or put up a fluffy motivational quote and ask them how it makes them feel. I wanted to create an atmosphere that people actually wanted to check in on, something that they couldn't get anywhere else. So again, I made it way more than fitness. Days are themed. I pair people on teams so that way that they have to meet each other and actually talk to each other and not just me, They compete for weekly small prizes. I do trivia. I do Beachbody trivia. I've done friends trivia. I've done tons of different things. We also do things like team bonding so that way they get to know each other. And one of those ways we do team bonding is I'll host a live Zoom workout on Saturdays. So that way they can work out together. They see each other's faces and they get to just be a part of something. Because again, that's what they're craving. I'll do weekly recognition and giveaways for the people that are consistent because I want them to see that consistency equals success. Continuing to show up, whether it's perfect or not, is how you're going to, be a part of something. But essentially, I want this to be a place that people want to be in. It doesn't need to be more than that. It just needs to be a place where they're excited to show up and to do something for themselves every day. And the beauty about this whole thing is that I don't even need to be in there all day long. Because a lot of you are probably thinking well, I don't have all that time. I don't have time to do all that stuff. But here's the beauty of it. I don't have to be in there constantly because they're supporting each other. They're pushing each other through these groups and I can go in there and I don't have to be Coach Kelsey all the time. Instead, I get to be in the trenches with them. I go in there and I log my shakes and my workouts and I tell them when I'm struggling and when I need an extra motivation. I use that app as my journal into my journey. And when they see me do that, they feel comfortable doing the exact same thing. And then they step up and then they encourage me. And then all of a sudden the ding, ding, dings go off in my head of, oh my goodness, this girl's falling right into the lines of can possibly become an incredible coach on my team. So that's the third thing. The last thing that I do to make sure that the experience is incredible for my clients is what I'm doing behind the scenes. In the group, I am with them. I want them to feel like I'm a part of that group with them, but behind the scenes, I am their coach. You are their coach. And I made a promise to them that I am going to help them achieve their goals and I'm going to deliver on that promise. I made that commitment to them. So I make sure that I'm going to connect with at least 5 people one-on-one every single day. And that doesn't mean sitting there and having long conversations. What that means is just sending them a message, in the app or on social media or even just a positive quote that made you think about them. Or here's a podcast that made me think of you, right? I'll send weekly check-in emails with recipes or meal planning tips. I respond to as many posts as I can every single day. And I'll also listen. I listen to what they're saying. So if there's common concerns or things that are happening, I'll do videos in the app or things like that to address those things. I listen to what they want. And that's the one thing that we all need to kind of get in the habit of doing. And what I tell my team is listen, because all of your answers are within them. They're telling you what they want. So once they tell me that, I can provide those resources to them in the file section. They can go in, they can grab them, and I even do something fun where I want them to know that I see them, because when the groups get bigger, they feel like they're not that as important, right? So I make sure that they know that they're important, that this is a huge decision. So I'll even call them out on posts. So if I'm going to make a Monday post, you better guarantee that 3 or 4 of them are going to be tagged in the comment section so they can, and I ask them to share their experience. And what I found is it makes them feel valued. It lets them know that I see them, and it gets them interacting with each other. And in turn, they're making friends. So those 4 things, are just a small shift and I was just being different. And I was authentically caring about them. And because of that, it's resulted in a minimum of 50 people moving from group to group every 30 days. The retention on Shakeology, the retention on the performance line is incredible. And to date, I've helped hundreds of women get unbelievable transformations, whether that's physically or mentally or both. And I had to bring her into this conversation because she's inspired me since day one. One of my coaches on my team started off as a challenger, Cassy Greaves. She's lost 130 plus pounds since beginning her journey with me. But here's the reality. I didn't do any of that for her. I did not do the work for her. She did the work. All I did was give her a community, an experience that inspired her and rooted for her the entire way. Because guys, that's our job. You know, we've been given these incredible tools like the My Challenge Tracker app, but at the same time, at the end of the day, it's our job to make this work for us and our people. Sandy, I think that's pretty much.
Oh my goodness. You know, Susie Colbert has nothing on you. You're amazing.
Thank you so much.
First of all, you've given so many great ideas. Thank you. You made this a very tactical call so people have something to walk away with. So, I mean, I'm just thinking, would I want to join my challenge group? You know, that is how it all started for you. So let's take it to the close of the call, which is really how rewarding has coaching been for you, this personal fulfillment of this role that you have now. So take it away.
Oh, man. So I'm going to get emotional already. Everybody does this at the end of this call, I swear. I've been thinking about how I was going to answer this question ever since I listened to the first national wake-up call ever when I was a new coach. And it's crazy because you hear all of these people every single week talk about how Beachbody has transformed their lives. And all you can think about is, man, that's never going to be me. You know, and now almost 5 years into this business in April, I'm sitting here on a call that I used to visualize being on. And I'm talking to thousands of coaches. And all I want to do is just like scream from the rooftops, like, don't stop, you know, don't ever stop. Because as hard as this is going to be sometimes, like, you just have to keep going, you know, because this is worth it. It's worth it of what it's going to do for your life. I'll never forget sitting at New Leader Conference in 2017. And Arnaud was actually, I think 2 years ago to this last weekend. And Arnaud was on stage and he was doing a presentation. And it was the craziest moment for me because pictures came up on the screen of coaches and their families. And he said these words and they changed my life forever. And he said, the next 5 years are going to fly by whether you do something with this or not. You might as well go after it. And I want to share this picture with you guys because right when he said it, this picture popped up on my screen, on the screen at New Leader. And it was from our honeymoon. It was my husband and I, and we were laughing. And for the first time, I saw that picture that was just a honeymoon picture to me at first in a different light. You know, this company didn't just change my life. It's changed his. And it changes the lives of every single person who comes in contact with me because I am better because of this. You know, right now I am sitting here in a home that I used to dream about in that rundown apartment I talked about. I'm married, you know, I'm working my way out of debt. I'm traveling the world. I ask nobody for anything, right? I'm giving back and I get to inspire belief and hope into the lives of other people. I have built a team of women who make me better, who challenge me and every single day remind me that I can never settle. You know, it scares me to death. It scares me to death to know that if I would have said no, or if I would have quit when things got hard, that my life, what would have happened? You know, there would have been thousands of people out there who would never have been impacted by this company because I wouldn't have been there to introduce it to them. And that's scary to me. You know, the power of saying yes is so much bigger than we realize. And quitting is so selfish, you know, because somebody out there is waiting for their gift and it has to be from you. So I know that was off a little bit, but because of this, like, I am free in every aspect of my life. And this company, like, I could not be more grateful for this opportunity.
Well, and we are incredibly grateful that you said yes. And it reminds me of the movie, It's a Wonderful Life. Like, you just don't know how many people that you impact had you not, you know, stepped out and helped somebody. Thank you so much, Kelsey. I'm looking at comments right now on Facebook and it's lit up with excitement. So there might be some questions on there. If you want to go back into that page on the TVB Coach 411, answer people's questions. We're very happy that you were on the call. So thank you. And I have an affirmation for everybody. And that is no more as is. Go and change the world, guys. That's exactly what Kelsey did. She was tired of just being on autopilot with her challenge groups. And she's like, I got to change things up. Would I want to be in my own challenge group? So take a little audit of your own groups. And thanks, everybody, for jumping on today. Just as a reminder, I'm going to have Autumn next week on Monday's call. Go ahead and have a great week and finish out the month strong. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.